With Rebels coming back, I think it's only fitting now to continue the series. Here, everybody, is Star Wars Episode 5. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back is directed by Irvin Kershner, is the second Star Wars film made in 1980, starring Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, James Earl Jones, and Billy Dee Williams. Well, everybody, it's becoming the end of the month, so I might as well get to this, everybody. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. And for some, this is people's favourites, for some, it's their least favourites. Where do I stand on that? Well, you'll have to watch this entire video. If you don't know, I'm doing a series of Star Wars reviews every single month, and the next Star Wars review will be Return of the Jedi at some point in October. But anyway, everybody, I guess I've just gotta say, let's get on with the review. We start off our film with a series of rebels camping out on the ice planet of Hoth, where the Empire sends down a load of probes. Now notice, there's similar imagery to Episode 4 as in the Imperial Cruiser, however it's doing something we've never seen it do before. So there's a lot of the same, but a bit of new, which is what you want to see with a sequel. And Luke, being one of the scouts, notices one of these landings, but before he can, he's attacked by a Wampa. And now Han's concerned that Luke's missing, and here we get some interesting, much needed character filling in what's happened, because we know what big things have happened, but we don't know character-wise what has happened, and it seems that R2-D2 and C-3PO have gotten closer, it seems that Han, Luke and Leia have become a lot closer, and we're seeing a very interesting dynamic between the three play out here, especially between Han and Leia. And yes, believe it or not, that is one of the better parts of this movie. Every character has their chance to shine, and the interactions they have is so crucial to the film, especially in those slower, smaller moments, because we can't just have 2 hours of action. We need to have more substance going on here, and I think this is a great example of what to do with that substance. And then there's cinematography. Irvin Kershner, rest in peace, man, because he did a brilliant job shooting this movie, and out of all the Star Wars films, it is mixed with the Abrams one, I think episodes 5 and 7 have the best cinematography, in my opinion. Why? Well, episode 4's editing was a mess, so yeah, I thought I'd just say that.
Get over here!
However, luckily Luke's able to escape, kills the Yeti and runs off. However, he passes out in the cold and gets a message. Does everyone just get a message from a blue Force ghost when they're in the cold? Hey, I think I worked out the real reason why Obi-Wan Kenobi died. It's because he didn't win that Oscar. I mean, take what you're given, man. I mean, I don't think Ewan McGregor was nominated for his portrayal of Obi-Wan Kenobi. However as good people say it is. But Han comes to rescue Luke, and he saves Luke's life by,
Hang on, kid.
And I am aware that he wants Luke to survive, he's contractually obligated. But, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't cut my dog open to save Josh's life. I mean, come to think of it, I wouldn't do anything to save Josh's life. I'd just leave him to fall off a bridge and break his neck.
They smell bad on the outside.
And I think this is something that a lot of people forget, that it's a Star Wars film. There's a lot of fun in it, which, surprisingly, a lot of people don't notice. I mean, it's more fun than a certain, oh, okay, we don't need to see that, no, go away, no one likes you. And then Han and Luke get rescued, and we get perhaps one of the best scenes in the Star Wars series of all time, in my opinion.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Okay, never mind. I have to go do something. And then finally, we get to meet the film's main villain, Darth Vader. And I've got to say, guys, Darth Vader is amazing in this film. Far better than he was in Episode 4. Okay, he had Tarkin restraining him. This time, no one is restraining him. And in addition to that, the John Williams score is far better in this film. We get the Imperial March and various other better uses of the original scores and themes, which just make this film so much better.
An area of the 6th planet of the Hoth system.
Oh, go away, Pycelle. No one likes you. But anyway, the Empire is now killing their own operatives, apparently. And they've found out the rebels are a Hoth, so off they go. So what does the Empire use? They use armoured dog-looking thingies with missiles attached to their heads. I mean, seriously, the thing is, it would be pretty easy for these speeders to take out the AT-ATs. And the sad thing is, the effects still hold up on the AT-ATs, but there are a lot of effects that don't hold up in this scene, unfortunately. However, they aren't too badly dated, unlike another Star Wars, well, Star Wars trilogy's effects, shall we say. So they tie up the AT-ATs and they fall over. Well, that was a waste of a Julian Glover death.
Poorly.
Then Luke breaks inside of an AT-AT with his lightsaber, but he only makes one cut. Then he throws a small thermal detonator into it, and all of a sudden the whole thing goes down. Because what do you know? But don't worry, because Han and Leia are in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie and 3PO as they shoot some snowtroopers and they fly off. But it's not over for them, as they're still being chased by the Imperials and their TIE fighters. So where do they decide to go? An asteroid field?
The possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
But Han's too cocky, and for good reasons, considering he's able to maneuver through the asteroids. The other TIE fighters, let's just say, Imperial lives were lost. But through the asteroids, Han, you cocky idiot! Their hyperdrive is damaged, so they have to land on an asteroid. So now they're just sitting ducks. Great. Well, this is great. Oh, and because blue screen was very inferior back in the 80s, R2-D2 is now black. Talk about droid diversity. And I think it's here when Luke arrives on Dagobah that the film starts to slow down. It's been going pretty quickly, and people say it's slow in general. I think it's only slow in the middle, but still in the middle. There's some really cool stuff going on. Like the cave sequence, like Yoda's teachings, like those weird creature things, like the bigger creature thing on the asteroid. Like there's a lot of things going on in between this, which are pretty cool. Let's see, when a film slows down, as long as there's something good when it slows down, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, and R2-D2 falls in a river, and Luke does nothing to get him. Hashtag droid lives matter. But whatever, he's a droid, so he can't drown. Okay, call me medically inferior, but wouldn't those have healed in, like, the 19 years between when he got those scars and now? And now it's time to build up character. And speaking of character, of course, we meet one of the best Star Wars characters of all time.
R2, let him have it. R2!
Yoda, everybody. Now, you may think of him as a stupid goofball, but that's part of the magic of his character. He's very fun, you know, very almost goofy in his ways, and at first Luke judges him, but then we see this far grander version of Yoda. He's very, very wise. He's very good with his teachings. He's very judgmental as well as this. And I've noticed one small problem, which is there's a couple of problems with the puppet, which is like his ears move when they shouldn't be. But hey, I can get over that. In fact, sometimes I think of it as like someone in a little suit or something like that, which is how good the puppetry is. Frank Oz did a great job with Yoda, and I will say that about this film. Oh, and also, Yoda's last fight was with R2-D2. At least he won it. Oh yeah, and Han and Leia are trying to fix the hyperdrive, and this happens.
Sir, I've isolated the reverse power flux coupling.
C-3PO, you relationship blocker. And also, I don't know how the height difference is going to work between Han and Leia, considering Leia's like 5'2" and Han's like 6'2". But whatever, I'll give it a pass there. Yeah, so I guess they love each other. Well, that was pretty obvious, but hey. And next up, we get a huge piece of character development for the character of Darth Vader. Now, bearing in mind that there is no special edition in this one, this is what we see. A figure shrouded in darkness with a wrinkly face, and that's it. Okay? the thing in the special editions was way too in your face, whereas this one's kind of just pretty calm. It's pretty shrouded in mystery, and of course, when we come to Return of the Jedi, we find out who this guy really is. That is what the Emperor should be, not this stupid special edition nonsense. Luckily, I have a DVD, able to protect myself from the special editions, which is good. Then Yoda, who hasn't revealed himself to be Yoda, takes Luke to his hut, but there's a problem. It has the lowest ceiling possible, so Luke's just gonna hit his head, and R2-D2 can't even get inside. But anyway, Yoda's talking about how Luke isn't ready to be a Jedi, how he's too old. However, then we get something weird.
Any different when you taught me?
Hold on. Wait, there's a continuity error here. Let me just get this straight. So, in the original, Yoda trains Obi-Wan, but in the prequels, Qui-Gon trains Obi-Wan. Where's the mix there? Clearly there's, some problems going on here. AKA, George Lucas didn't even look into the facts before he started making a prequel. George Lucas, you idiot! Next up on the Millennium Falcon, Japanese monsters attack the ship. And Han realizes something, so he decides to get in the Falcon and fly out of there fast. Why? Well, because it's not a cave they're inside of. It's a slug? What? Alright then, whatever. That is actually pretty fun. They could have literally just had that they just need to fly away because of those small things. No, they're in a giant thing's mouth. That's actually pretty cool. And next up, everybody, are you ready for your Yoda training? Alright then, okay, let's get on with this. So first up, you want to climb some vines in a dark desert planet with a green elf thing on your back. Next up, you want to do various amounts of hiking and make sure to show your muscles off. Just because, you know, you had to do that training for something, eh? But now Luke is given a test in which he has to walk inside a cave, and whatever he brings with him will be the only thing there. And what does he see inside the cave? Well, he kind of sees brilliance inside the cave. Oh, and bearded dragon lizards. Oh, and when I referred to brilliance, I meant cinematic brilliance, as Luke and Vader have a quick fight, but look who ignites their lightsaber first. It's Luke, then Vader, then they fight for a bit, and Luke wins the fight. However, we get some disturbing imagery right here. Ooh, spooky. But for some reason, the audience got really confused with this when it originally came back. Look, judge your film when it's done, okay? Don't judge it as it is right now. Judge it when it's done. Next up, Darth Vader hires a series of bounty hunters, half of them whose names have been remembered like they're gods, the other half have been forgotten in the abyss. But hey, one of them being Boba Fett, who's not called Boba Fett in the scene, because why not? And Han does one of the smartest things ever. Okay, I always thought it was a stupid phrase called keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Well, Han has done both, quite literally. I guess Luke's workout really worked, because now he's able to lift Yoda and rocks, and lift his entire body on one hand. Jesus Christ, I bet even John Cena couldn't do that. But my, what a beefcake. I'm Luke, not the puppet.
Oh, yeah.
Magic! But hold on, how come in episode 2 Yoda didn't do that to Dooku's ship except from in the reverse? You know, throw Dooku's ship off a cliff. That would have helped things quite a lot.
Here's why you fail.
I shall assume full responsibility for losing them and apologize to Lord Vader.
Yeah, and you did that really well, dude.
Apology accepted, Captain Nida.
You know, one thing that I've just thought of just now is, does Darth Vader kill more of his own men than he does his enemies? Because if so, Darth Vader, you are really stupid. But let's make things worse, as It's on the back of the ship. Why the Empire is made up of idiots, okay? Would they not send out TIE fighters to go looking for the Falcon around the ships? Would they not notice this giant Millennium Falcon-shaped thing sticking out on the side of the... Oh, good lord, okay. Well, it does confirm my theory that all the stormtroopers are brain dead. I mean, have you seen that guy who hit his head on the door? But luckily, Han, Leia, Chewie, and C-3PO escape. However, they're tracked by the bounty hunter. His name's Boba Fett, okay? Please just call him Boba Fett, I swear to God. Next up, the crew arrive at Bespin, the Cloud City, which for some reason doesn't actually have any land. Why? Because this one guy that Han gambled with, who is kind of a friend with, lives near. Great.
How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you.
And here we meet Lando, who is freaking awesome, okay? He's basically Black Han Solo, if Han Solo settled down and had this awesome mining colony thing. Which I know is crazy to say, but I think I actually like Lando more than Han, just because Han gets a bit bogged down in what's going on with him. One person who doesn't is Lando, which I think is kind of cool. However, in addition, I really like the way that he interacts with the characters, especially with Leia. He's got those player vibes on. But seriously, Han, don't just stand there and watch him touch her. Seriously, you creepy weirdo.
No, please don't get up.
Well, that's pointless. I mean, it only really serves for comic relief, and also it's a kind of setup to what's about to happen, but hey. Anyway, Luke gets visions of Han and Leia in pain, so he has to abandon his training and gets inside a ship and flies off. But before he can do that...
If you choose to face Vader, you will do it alone.
That's right, we get bright blue Alec Guinness for some weird reason. He only shows up for a couple of scenes, so we can get this line, which makes no sense.
That boy is our last hope.
No. There is another.
Thanks, Yoda, for being cryptic and confusing, like you always are. And, well, that's the only hint we're gonna get till Return of the Jedi, which comes 3 years later. For you, it's gonna be 1 month, but it's gonna be 3 years to the main audience, but, whatever, I guess it's fine. I wonder if the New Hope is Leia. And wouldn't you know it, Leia's first in frame, but there is, one other spooky problem, which I have to show you, which is, if she's this other Hope, then why doesn't Obi-Wan and Yoda train her as well as Luke? Okay, 2 Skywalker siblings versus 1 Skywalker is gonna instantly win, but they didn't do that. Ah, whatever. I mean, otherwise we couldn't get this amazing dialogue in which Carrie Fisher stands on a box and talks to Harrison Ford. But anyway, it's time to dinner with Lando. And who are the guests there? Well, I'm gonna give points to both characters here. Han Solo for instantly shooting, and Darth Vader for being able to block lasers with his hands. Okay, that is just awesome. But anyway, Lando betrays them, and it turns out the bounty hunter, who's never called Boba Fett, finds them. So whilst Chewie does some homemade droid building, Han gets tortured for no reason. Han and Leia both get tortured for no reason. Well, there is a reason, which is to lure Luke there, but, yeah, you could at least make it more subtle, dude.
See. Oh, that's much better. Wait! Oh my! What have you done? I'm backwards, you flea-bitten furball! Only you know.
Yeah, how did Chewie even know to do any of this remotely? I mean, granted, he doesn't do a good job, but he doesn't know a thing about fixing C-3PO, which is, quite a problem. And because the Empire makes no sense, Han is going to be frozen in this complicated machine so they can freeze Luke in carbonite to take him to the Emperor. Have they ever heard of a cage?
I know.
And with that awesome kiss and line, Han gets frozen in carbonite. And for some reason, Leia and Chewie are spooked because Han's been frozen. So he's still alive, he's just encased in a nice stone thing and he can't talk to you. How sad to Leia. Just unfreeze him right now, Lando. God damn it, Lando. Next, the deal is altered and now Han, Leia and Chewie being dealed around the place and Luke's here. but he's been found by Boba Fett. And also, Boba Fett shoots his gun a grand total of 4 times in about 1 minute, and that's all he does in the trilogies. And finally, it's Luke versus Vader, the fight we all came here to see.
Force is with you, young Skywalker.
And throughout this fight, some say it's not a good fight. I mean, are you kidding? How much of this film has been setting up the fight of Luke versus Vader? I'd say a good half of this movie has, if not the whole film has been setting it up. And God, it is awesome. I mean, you say that it's not well choreographed. The prequels were too choreographed, and also it looks like people are legitimately trying to kill each other. Oh, and also, for some reason, Lando betrays his friends, then he betrays the stormtroopers to save his friends. Huh?
He had no choice.
Just try to help.
And Lando gets choked instantly. I mean, Chewie, he just freed you. Give him a break. But anyway, Boba and Han escape, and Leia isn't too happy about that. But back to the far more interesting segment. This fight goes all ways. First it's them hitting sticks, then they're flipping around in these gas things, then they're falling, then they're sneaking, then they're throwing things at each other, then there's more saber clashing, then there's talking. Seriously, I've just realised Darth Vader has a monologue for everything, every single thing in this movie. Then Vader throws Luke out of a freaking window. Yeah, well delivered to your Emperor, isn't he? But because Vader can't narrate over the entire movie, Chewie, Leia, Lando, R2 and 3PO all make it to the Millennium Falcon. Falcon, whatever you want to call it. And the fight still continues, and you see Luke really struggling. You see ashes flying everywhere. You see well-placed swings. Hold on. Did Luke just slash into his shoulder, you idiot? And then Vader cuts off Luke's hand. Owie. And that's one thing I like about this fight here. They actually show weakness. Well, Vader doesn't, but Luke shows a lot of weakness in this fight, which the prequels failed to do big time. And then we get the most quotable and best line of the movie, which makes this fight the best fight scene ever.
No. I am your father.
That's not true. That's impossible.
And I had this spoiled for me ages before I even showed an interest in Star Wars. I knew that Vader was Luke's father, so this didn't affect me, but I can still appreciate things like the cinematography, the acting, the dialogue. It's all there. The only problem is, yeah, I already knew the twist, which wasn't so good. I mean, coupled with Planet of the Apes, this may be the best movie twist of all time. And if anything, this is what makes this the best Star Wars fight scene of all time. In my own opinion, bearing in mind. But, yeah, so what does Luke decide to do? He's lost his hand, he's lost his lightsaber. Now he's realized that Vader's his dad. He kills himself. Well done. But of course, Luke's contractually obligated to survive, so he holds on to this random vein thing right on the bottom of Cloud City. Then he sends a telepathic message to Leia.
Hear me. Leia.
And for some reason, out of everyone they send to rescue Luke, they send Lando. The guy that Luke has never met, and if he knew Lando at all, he'd know that that's the one that betrayed his friends. Why would you ever trust Lando in this ship when its pilot was literally frozen in carbonite? You see, that makes no sense, Luke, but yet again, he is in a desperate situation. And then R2-D2 abruptly fixed the hyperdrive. What? Are you kidding? They spent the entire film fussing with a hyperdrive, and R2-D2 fixed it instantly. And, Vader... is he gonna kill someone? No? Ah, well that's anticlimactic.
Let me find Jabba the Hutt and that bounty hunter.
His name is Boba Fett! He's one of the most loved Star Wars characters ever! Okay, his name is Boba Fett, not that bounty hunter. Stop doing that. Anyway, I'm a bit triggered. But anyway, Leia's sad, C-3PO's fixed, R2-D2's there, and Chewie and Lando leave to go and find Han on Tatooine? Okay. And Luke gets a robotic hand, which my mouse is on for some reason. I'm so sorry that I didn't notice that sooner. And with that, our movie ends on a cliffhanger, which I think is just, yeah, pretty good idea for a film like that. You know, it's the second film in the series, you gotta make people watch a third. And that is what I call a cliffhanger. And also, you two, you're related. Yeah. So now I guess it's time for my thoughts on the film, and I'm gonna start off right off the bat saying that this, in my opinion, is the best Star Wars film. And not only am I saying that, but I think it's actually one of the best films made of all time. It knows what it is as a sequel, it goes darker, it goes in new directions, however it also stays in the same direction. We still have Luke, we still have Han, we still have Leia, we still have Vader. We still have very similar antics, except from it goes in a different direction with them. So it still feels like Star Wars, however it feels different to the original. And I've got to say, the characters here are amazing. It expands on characters who weren't that interesting in Episode 4. Them, of course, being Darth Vader. I mean, he was cool and all, but we never really got much of his character. Here we now really get a lot of Vader, and he is perfect in this movie. Its pacing, some people say, is slow, however, I tend to disagree here. In my opinion, in terms of action, I'd say there is as much of it as there is in Episode 2, however, it's better proportioned, and in addition, I think in general it is better, and the better moments really do keep this film together. And, practically everything in this film is a step up. We get, for a start, we get an amazing John Williams score in this film, and I love the original one, yes, but this one is even better. I mean, my god. I mean, if you want me to say, the Imperial March was for this film. It came before, and like, in Episode 4 there was no Imperial March, in this one there was. We got Yoda's theme, we got various others which just made this film so damn good. Everything about this film is perfect. I mean, for one, Episode 4 was a mess in the editing room. It was a really good film, but it was a mess in the editing room. This film is far better shot, far better directed, everything. And rest in peace, Irvin Kershner. You did a brilliant, brilliant job. And I've got to say, I just love The Empire Strikes Back for everything it gives. It expands on the story with great characters, great direction, great everything, great story, everything. It's just far better than it was in the original. And the original was hard to top. But the fact it did that and made one of the best films ever made really shows something here. And, now, people find this film is too slow at points, which I beg to differ with. I think that this film, it has slow moments, yes, but we kind of need those slow moments in order for the faster moments to pick up and so it can develop our characters. And lastly, do I have anything against the film? Is there anything bad I can say? Well, there are a number of continuity errors, but that's more problems with the other films. In addition, some characters aren't that well fleshed out that I feel should have, such as Boba Fett. And lastly, this is one minor thing, which is half the film is spent with these characters split apart. We get one or two scenes between Han and Luke, and Han and 3PO barely talk at all. In fact, I don't think they even notice each other, which is a bit of an issue in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those characters are done well, it's just I would like to see more interaction going on between them. And lastly, yes, the effects are dated. At the time they were very good, but come on, now they're just dated, which is a bit of a problem. But as long as the characters and story are really good, I really don't mind these minor flaws with special effects. To some, they don't hold up. To some, they don't matter to me, which makes this film that much better. So, in conclusion, what can I say about The Empire Strikes Back? Well, it has amazing characters, amazing story, amazing directing, basically amazing everything. This is the ideal sequel, ideal film, and one of the best films of all time, one of the best Star Wars films of all time. So, it's a no-brainer what this film's gonna get then. Okay, guys? This movie is freaking awesome. 5 out of 5, everybody. I recommend that you watch this film. With the exception of that. Anyway, guys, check out my Twitter at MrChicken4321 and my gaming channel, MrChicken167. My Return of the Jedi review will be out very soon in October. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. God damn it.